Hello. We're continuing the course Fundamentals of Kabbalah. Today we have in the studio Michael Laitman, hello, and myself, Michael Sanilevich. The topic of today's lesson is the structure of creation. We'll look at topics such as the thought of creation, the creature and the creator, their relationship, and the phases of development of creation. This is the main thing, and then of course, in the next lesson, we'll look at the way our world was formed after the Big Bang, the organization of all this matter happened. So let's start from the thought. What's the thought of all this creation, Dr. Laitman? Yes, the main thing is the thought of creation. It precedes our creation we're in. The thought of creation is to give pleasure to the creatures, because in order to please them, the creature needs to desire this fulfillment. So, first and foremost, it needs to have a deficiency, the feeling that it wants. So, the main quality of the matter of creation is the feeling of a lack or desire. Host, the desire to receive this, Dr. Laitman, the desire to receive this pleasure, the desire to receive. And this desire has to grow in the creation gradually, because it's exactly due to the development of this desire in this creature, due to its development, it can define what's desirable for it and in what phases, and so on. It's impossible to create a creation straight away. It's possible to create a machine that will follow some orders, but in order for the creation to be independent, to be similar to the creator, in order to really get pleasure, its desire needs to go through gradual, specific periods of development. Host, so even the creator cannot create straight away, no, without any phases of development. Dr. Laitman, no, otherwise it won't be a creation, it will be a robot. Just like still vegetative and animal levels of nature just follow a program that's in them, and it automatically acts upon them without any freedom of will, without any participation on their part. So to create a person, man, not just a human, it means to develop him to a level of independence, so that it realizes what it is, who controls it, why, what for. So to give it qualities that are on the one hand opposite to the creator, and on the other hand give it the ability to achieve these qualities of the creature. And then this creature can be fully formed and perfect. So at the beginning, everything starts from the influence of the creator on the creature. As we said, this is a desire that feels only one thing. It feels the need to be filled by what it's been filled by, what satiates it. Who created it? So we draw it in this way. There's light that comes from the creator, fulfillment, satiation, and this creates a desire, a kli, a minus, let's say, and the plus is the light. Host. So we started studying the stages of development. Yes, this is the first stage, the first phase. The light is phase 0, and the first phase is the creation of the desire. The desire to receive and get pleasure from this light. Yes, we draw it usually with such a cup created in such a way that it wants to get the light, wants to receive the light. This is a natural, instinctive desire, and it doesn't depend on this desire itself. And he created this desire straight away? Yes, the light creates the desire. Next, the next phase, the second phase. This desire starts to transform it doesn't only want to get this light, this fulfillment, it wants to be similar to the light. That's why it refuses this pleasure, seemingly. The light that's in it gives the desire its quality of bestowal, and this desire that wants to also give and become similar to the light, it becomes empty, empties itself. So if the first phase is called Keter, the second phase is called Chokhmah, then the next phase, the third one, is called Bina, host. So when the light is influencing me, it influences me in a way that I want to give. Yes, to be similar to this light. Yes. And this phase of Bina, it's very interesting. It's opposite to the first one. Here, the creature attains a state that's opposite to the one the Creator created it in. And next, the Bina decides to... she says, I have to realize myself if I want to give, and that's why it creates the next phase in its desire to give, the phase that's called Zeirampin. What is this phase about? This desire, this is a desire to receive, but it's small. It's not like Chokhmah, the first one. It's smaller. Host, why is it not enough to just have the second phase? Just to be similar to the upper force? No, we become similar to the upper force only according to our yearning and not in our state, because we don't give anything in this. In Bina, we're just in a state when we don't receive. That's it. And when Bina realizes itself in Zeirampin, in the third phase, then it turns out that in such a way it manifests itself as similar to the Creator. So Keter is the quality of the Creator, the quality of bestowal, to give. Chokhmah is the realization of this desire, bestowal. The Bina receives this quality. What is given to Chokhmah and refuses reception. It refuses to receive. There is a refusal. It decides not to receive, but it doesn't have anything to give, and it doesn't want to. And in the third phase, Bina realizes its quality of bestowal. It gives, the Bina gives. The Bina, the previous phase, gives, or it gives birth, this next quality, and it fills it up. Host. So Zeirampin is, I get a little bit, give a little bit. Yes, it's complex. It's made up of two parts, and Bina is made up of two parts, and Chokhmah, and also Keter is made up of two parts. So the desire to receive always exists, yes? Yes. And when the Zeirampin is fully, receives everything, it realizes that the main thing is to get fulfillment and not to refuse in some way. So it wants to be filled completely, this quality that's in it, when it wants to be fully filled up. It's called Malchut. It's called the kingdom of the desire. So this is the receiver or reception. Host. And in such a way, does it become opposite to the Creator? Yes, it becomes completely opposite to Keter. It is opposite. And what happens in them is that the creation is created that's completely opposite to the creator, but it wants to realize what is planned by the creator. The creator wants to give. The creator wants to give, and Malchut wants to receive. So here we said that the first phase is the desire to receive, and the last one is also desire to receive. But in the first phase, the Chokhmah, this desire is assembled by the Keter, it's directed and it's compelling, and the creation in this state is just acting because his inner qualities make it so. But when it disconnects, breaks the connection with the source, Binah refuses, it breaks this flow of pleasure that comes from the Keter, and then the creation, the creature, defines what's important for it by itself, and in such a way creates a new desire, Malchut, that is defined by its own yearning. It's an independent desire, yes. And in the first phase, we can compare it to just fill something up, that's something that's inanimate, or you fill up something that asks for this fulfillment. Host, and we compare it to food, right? Yes, of course. So when I'm given some dish I have never eaten, maybe I want to receive, but I don't want that thing, and after I've tried it, then I have a desire for it, yes. So as I understand, this is the essence of all of Kabbalah, this explanation of 4 phases. Dr. Laitman, this is the direct light, the 4 phases of the direct light. They talk to us about the creation of the desire to receive. But this creation, this creature feels that it wants from itself this quality of Binah that cuts off the creature from the source. It splits the Keter that fills up on the one hand, on the other hand Malchut that receives Binah, disconnects them seemingly one from the other. But the thing is that the creature is not independent for now. It yearns to what the Keter wants to give it, but it doesn't control its desires. The thing is that to control your desires means to be above them, to ascend to a level when you control, you create your desires, and not the desires control you. Host, so that the thought of creation is to give us fulfillment and pleasure. The Creator created a desire, and inside this program it's written that I have to rise above them and control them. Yes. Let's add the number 4 to Malchut, and here we can erase this. So these are the 4 phases of the direct light. This is where the creation starts. The last phase is Malchut, when it gets all the fulfillment. That's called light from Keter. It's called Malchut of the world of infinity, because its fulfillment is infinite. As much as it wants, it gets fulfillment. Host. So just to sum up, if the whole development stopped at the first phase, we would have been like animals. There wouldn't be any independent desire to receive. Right, yes. If everything stopped at phase 4, there wouldn't be any further development. We wouldn't be able to control. Malchut is still not independent because even though it wants the fulfillment, it yearns for the same fulfillment that the Keter dictated for it. It wants to yearn for Keter. It wants to get filled up. Here there is realization that it wants what the Keter wants. And what's the further development? And next, what happens is very interesting. This Malchut begins to feel, because she gets from the Keter, she can decide to receive because it wants to get from Keter. It continues to grow, to develop, and this brings her to a realization that it's not free. It's fully controlled by these desires and the fulfillment. The minus and the plus control it in any way. In Malchut, there is a state, a quality of freedom, that it doesn't want to obey the lack of fulfillment and not the desire to get fulfillment, but she gets a desire to become independent, because this is what she feels existing in Keter, because Keter is the first one. There's nothing before it. And here there are several states in Malchut. It feels that it's not enough of a creature. It wants to be similar to the Keter, similar to the Creator, because it feels that the Creator, her Creator, is fully free and is above bestowal and above reception, and she has a lack of reception or fulfillment. She doesn't have any freedom of will, no I. And these influences, the plus and the minus, control it fully. So she has this feeling that she's not free, completely controlled. And this feeling, we call it the revelation of evil, of its nature, that it's completely controlled by the pleasure or its lack. And this feeling brings Malchut to a feeling of shame. So, because there's no freedom of will in it, and it's fully controlled. It's okay that it's fully controlled, but the fact that she feels that she's fully controlled and she has this feeling of a necessity in its free action, this stops her, and to such an extent that it stops any contact whatsoever with the light. This state is called tzimtzum, restriction. So it's a feeling that I'm fully controlled and I have nothing that's free, makes the creature restrict itself, its desire. It wants to stop completely. And this state, the preceding state, when I'm fully controlled, I'm prepared to kill it in me, to annul it in me. And that's why it's called restriction. So Malchut is prepared for anything, just not to feel fully controlled when there is no ability to act freely. Host, so does she feel completely controlled, or opposite to the upper force that created it? It's almost the same thing. So in the first phase it received, I receive, let's say, I receive and I don't know who I get it from. It's like an animal. Yes, it doesn't matter who you are. Yes, and then the light begins to develop it, where to the point where in the last phase it wants to become similar. Yes. Yes, in spite of its initial desire to receive. So it needs to refuse the actions it performed before. So that's why there's this restriction, yes? So it's not getting anything. And then in some way it becomes similar to the upper force that doesn't have a desire to receive. Yes, yes. And then what? So clearly there has to be some development, Dr. Laitman. Yes, there's development, but it's completely dictated by other desires. The Malchut that received this feeling that it needs to be independent, otherwise it doesn't exist. If she just receives or just stops receiving, what's in these 4 phases of direct light? It acts in completely according to the instructions of the upper light. That's why they're called 4 phases of direct light. And then, when it can be independent, only if it begins to counteract the light. In what way? It might not agree with all his actions, but allow some actions. If she can protect herself in some way from the action of the light and position herself in such a way that I prevent the action of the light and then allow it, that's where its independence is manifested. And then she will get an understanding of the Creator. She will accept the Creator's actions. So I protect my lack of independence, I stop being an animal, and I become a human. In Hebrew, human is Adam. It means similar to the Creator. To the extent that I can limit myself from animal unconscious reception and make myself a conscious receiver, to such an extent I'm called a man, Adam, host. So it's like control. Yes, this is absolute control. This is understanding of what I do, expression of the qualities of the Creator in me, host. So what we receive today, all the people, it's not controlled. I have a desire to receive, something comes from outside, I don't even know where from, these thoughts, these desires suddenly appear in me, and I get pleasure in some way. So there's no freedom here. Of course. So we come to a state when a person has this opportunity, the force that prevents them from receiving, controls these desires. This is called the screen. Yes. This is the ability to control oneself. It has to do with a special action when I can protect myself, close myself off from the Creator, break the connection, the direct connection with Him, break His instructions that I used to follow instinctively, and now I decide that I can't do this. I perform an action called restriction. Tzimtzum. It's as if I disconnect myself from the Creator, and to the extent that I'm able to connect to the Creator, accept His influence on me, and I want to become similar to Him. He gives and I still receive. I continue being a receiver, but my reception has a completely different form. When I receive, when I decide that I have to receive to be similar to the Creator. If the Creator gives, He emanates from Him. My action of bestowal to Him is all about, after I've closed myself, I open myself up in a specific way, to a specific degree, and I receive pleasure, clearly understanding that I do it to give pleasure to Him, against seemingly my will. Host. So I hide the light of the Creator in my desire to receive. Yes, He's like the sun. He always gives. And I, if I have this screen, this ability to control the flow of light, I hide it from my desire to receive. Yes. And this is called consciously attaining Him. Yes. And then if I open myself up, this is conscious reception and connection with the Creator. Host. If I understand correctly, this degree to which I hide from the Creator. This is called worlds. Yes, the extent of revelation of light is light. So the world is olam. Yeah, alama from the word concealment. So this is not some worlds. No, this has nothing to do with the physical world. It's all to do with me, inside of my desire. Host, so as I understand, the Kabbalists split it up into 5 worlds. If I reveal 100%, Dr. Laitman, these 5 worlds are constructed according to this structure of Keter Chochmah Binah Zera Anpin Malchut. So if I hide fully from my desire to receive, no, it's the opposite. Asiya is when I fully hide myself. When I fully hide myself, conceal myself, is the world of Asiya. Above it, a bit smaller, a bit less concealment, is the world of Yetzirah, then Bria, and when I seriously reveal the light, this is called the world of Atzilut, and when I fully reveal the light, this is the world of Adam Kadmon. And in such a way, it exists. We have 5 worlds. Host. And all this is before the creation of our world. Dr. Laitman, our world, it's ghostly. It's as if it doesn't exist in spirituality because it's built on reception. It's like a preceding stage of the world of Asiya. I'll mark it in red here. The world of Asiya. There is this bit. Now let's depict it like this. It's seemingly existing state. This is our world. Who described all of this and when? Dr. Laitman. This is all described by Kabbalists throughout thousands of years. The first revelation of all this was made by Adam. That's why it's called Adam. And he has these terms, Keter Chochmah Binah, well, as much as we received and what he taught his students, Shem Chai, Yefet, and all the students in Torah, his students. And this information has existed for thousands of years, almost 6,000 years, yeah. And the modern Kabbalists, no, this has existed for almost 6,000 years from Adam. Then it was passed on 20 generations, 10 generations to Noach, then 10 generations to Abraham, and then from Abraham it is written in the Torah to us. In the next lesson we'll look at the Kabbalistic theory of development of the world. Even though you say our world is ghostly, well, it did develop in some way. We'll study what the Kabbalists say, including what the Ari said in the 16th century. He spoke about this. And of course, Baal Sulam wrote about this, about 30 million of years of development. Yes, there are a lot of materials. Yes, there are materials because everything that exists in the spiritual gives its imprint in the matter. And we can study it, yes. So, to sum up, I would like to, because this is new material, people that hear it for the first time, let's sum up for everyone. Dr. Laitman, I would say so. I described these phases many times, so it's worth looking at other recordings of this, because each time it's different. It's expressed. I don't think that today is the best description that's possible of the 4 phases. That's the first thing. And also, people should learn the notions, the concepts in Hebrew, because there's no escape. It's written in Hebrew and Aramaic, but it's enough to study the terms in Hebrew, at least, and study this topic well, because it's a central theme. Everything else is founded on these 4 phases of direct light. Why 4? Because Keter gives, and all the other ones receive from it. Chochmah Binah Zera Anpin Malchut, or 1, 2, 3, 4, and Keter is phase 0. This is what we have to remember, know, and next time we'll see how these 5 phases are reflected in matter, in development of matter, our development, human development, in evolution. They define everything that happens in nature, in small microscopic parts of nature, or the whole nature as a whole, including the society. Yes, including the society, including every man, woman, every family, everywhere. We can always point and say, here these 5 phases exist, and we know how things happen there, or will happen. So by studying this desire to bestow and to receive, this interaction of the creator and the creature, it's like a template. And this is expressed in the relationships between people and so on. Yes, there's an imprint on the whole matter and its development. So the interaction between people, I receive something from people and I give something. And this is also in these 5 phases. Anything, any interaction includes all these 5 phases. Okay, this has been interesting. Thank you. And we'll meet next week. The topic will be Kabbalistic theory of development of the world. Goodbye.